wholesaling, guys, wholesaling is just it's a term that was marketed really well and got people to buy a lot of courses and classes and books and programs and stuff like that because it sounds cool, right? The word wholesaling, the definition, I did not look it up, but you can if you want. But basically, it's buying something at a discount and then selling it higher, right? You're wholesale. If you buy a product at a wholesale price and then you put it on a retail shelf at a gas station or Macy's or whatever, that's wholesale is the guy that sold it at the discount, okay? So I don't care what you call it, but ultimately we're just deal finders, okay? So that's what we're talking about today. Same thing still applies. So this is from from the last meetup we had where we talked about how to build and how to thrive in 25, which was to find specialized education and dive in and get that education. And these were the things we were talking about that would be potential avenues for your real estate business. So obviously we're talking wholesaling today. All right. So wholesaling equals deal finder. Can we all agree with that right now? Yes. So we're going to use it interchangeably. I will probably still say wholesaling, and then I will say being a deal finder. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. So there's a couple of big pieces to wholesaling or being a deal finder. If you are to wholesale, this exiting the deal is assigning a contract to another buyer. Okay, that's wholesaling. You get a property under contract, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this. You get a property under contract, and the way you exit the deal is you market your contract, you market it for sale at a premium, at a higher price than what you have it under contract for, and you sell and make the delta. Okay, you make the difference. If you do 1 through 4, like you find a deal, you evaluate the deal, you secure it, and then you exit by closing on it, well, now you've just been a deal finder who closed on a good deal. Does that make sense? So that's why it doesn't matter what we call this, wholesaling or deal finding. It's about finding discount properties, okay? So this is one that we did, and I'm pretty sure I forgot. Oh, I did put the numbers. Oh, phew. I totally forgot what the numbers were on this. This is a legitimate wholesale that we did a few years ago, okay? If there's any attorneys watching, oh, this is way past, what's that called where they can't, statute of limitations. I need to talk to you. Statute of limitations. This is like 2 years ago. So where we contracted the property at $45,000, we found an end buyer at $64,000. This was I think a hedge fund bought it. And so we had a contract with the seller at $45,000. We then found someone else who was like, you know what? I really like that house, and I'm willing to pay $64,000 for it. So we signed some documents, and they showed up at closing with their $64,000. $45,000 goes to that seller, and the remaining $19,000 goes to us. So all that makes sense. Is there anybody brand new to wholesaling and that they've never heard any of this before? It's okay if you are brand new. Yes. Okay. Perfect. We've got a couple, and I just want to make sure because I'll slow down on some of this just to make sure we hit it. But this process, that is what wholesaling is. Now, is that a good business model? What do y'all think? Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. That's why everybody does it across the country. And, spoiler, that's why it's now illegal. Because realtors didn't like it. Because it was such a good business model. And the real estate agents, the realtors were getting cut out of potential deals, right? Now, we can all say that there's maybe some good reasons for regulations on this because there's some people that were saying and doing things that were not good. I mean, just to be flat out, there were people being criminals, talking to sellers and lying to them, right? So this is what happens. We get regulation. I think South Carolina went a little too far, but it's too late. We're here, okay? So it is a good business model because what wholesalers and deal finders do is we find a gap in the marketplace. And the gap in the marketplace for real estate is this old antiquated way of selling and buying houses where you have to have an agent. And you got to call an agent to go find anything. And buyers and sellers just didn't know they had other options. And so sellers with houses that need a lot of work, that are only $45,000, agents in the past didn't really want to deal with it. And sellers didn't know they had investors out there that would buy it. And they didn't have access to those investors. So that's where the gap is that wholesalers, deal finders, are going to the homeowners. That's what a good deal finder is you're identifying potential opportunities and you're letting those homeowners know that you're there. Because basically for years, they didn't know they had any other option. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm seeing some heads, so that's good. I think I'm going the right way. If I lose you, that's fine. Y'all just say, hey, hold on, slow down. I'm full with it. All right, so wholesaling, it's an exit strategy, of course. We just kind of talked about that. Some people used to, before wholesaling was a term that everybody used, it was quick flips or flipping paper. Have y'all heard that before? Some people have been in this business a while. That's that. Same thing. Assigning contracts. Now people are getting away from saying wholesaling. They're like, I'm not wholesaling. I'm just assigning contracts. Well, that's the same thing. Okay. Assigning contracts is more of the legal definition in the real estate law. And commercial property, commercial real estate is done a lot with assigning contracts. Anytime you change a name, if you sign a contract that Andrew Lucas is going to buy it, but then we show up at the closing table and Lucas Properties is going to buy it, we assign the contract to Lucas Properties. Okay? That's been going on forever. Nothing new about it. So here's the deal with wholesaling and using that as an exit strategy, and we're going to talk about it kind of right now as if there's no real legal issue about it. So just so you know what we're talking about. So it's not about real estate. You're a pawn shop. Why do I say you're more like a pawn shop? Discount? Yeah? What's that? Convenient, yes. Speed and convenience. Yeah. And it's an option. It's an outlet. So pawn shops, think about people that go into pawn shop. If they're going to pawn a drill, assuming they didn't steal it, let me just say that. Assuming it was theirs, right? If they're going to go pawn a lawnmower, a diamond ring, a Rolex or something, why would they go to the pawn shop versus trying to sell it themselves somewhere else on the market? Well, speed, convenience, and it's available, right? It's there. So that's what you're doing as the pawn shop. So I just had a conversation with Sean and Monique, and they're not here, and Rochelle will know, she could testify to this, that partners of ours has a flip that's on the market. It sat through the cold winter season. Oh, so bad. December. And they had it listed at like $219 or something like that. And it comps out and it could sell. We were down like $215, dropping prices. And we were happy with a $199 sales price. That's what we really went into this with. But we saw that it could comp and sell at $215. So we were trying to shoot for it. Because real estate, we have to kind of separate ourselves from the emotions of it. It's nothing more than inventory on a shelf. Okay? It's a bag of Doritos at the convenience store. It's a ugly Christmas sweater at Macy's. Do they even have Macy's? Does anybody? Maybe? Okay. When that ugly Christmas sweater, when it gets to be December 26th, what happens with that thing? It is on sale. Get it out of here. Okay? So that real estate and properties have the same flow. Okay? When it hits the market, if it's a fully done property, it hits the market, I think our average right now is like 45 days on market. That first 45 days, we're holding strong. Oh yeah, no discount, no sale. We have it right. Just like those sweaters, when it starts to get hot outside, we better put this thing on sale. We're going to start reducing price, right? You get the 10%, the 20%. By the time you hit June, the sweaters are like marked down to, what's that red dot? They're ready to go. Same thing with real estate. The pawn shop is where that stuff ends up when the homeowners, the property owners, they're done. It's out of season. It's 2-3 years past season. Okay. That's what makes a good wholesale deal. All right. You're not investing in real estate. You're not owning it. It's a transaction. You're just making transactional income. Okay. You're a deal finder. So these are some of the pros for it. You don't really need a whole lot of money. You can go and do this really with no money out of your pocket if you are brave enough to knock on doors. I don't do that, but some of y'all might. Quick cash. So you can turn this if you do assignments and you can get them done in as quick as 20 days, 30 days, something like that. If you are new and you're just getting started, being a deal finder, going out hustling, finding discount deals really helps you learn the market, learn what's going on, because you're talking to a lot more property owners, you're talking to buyers, you're evaluating a lot of deals in a short amount of time. So the things that make it not so great, it's labor intensive. If you're not going to spend money on it, you're going to spend time and energy. Remember that. If you have money, you don't have to spend as much labor. Okay. It is earned income. There's no tax advantages. It's just transactional earned income. A lot of moving parts, of course. And then we get down to the government regulations. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We used to have this slide. It said legal ambiguities. We weren't real sure if it was okay, and we weren't real sure how to do it and make sure you were legal. Well, South Carolina, the commission has now got rid of the ambiguities, and they said, no, they don't like it. They don't want you to do it. And so I'm going to show you some of that, the excerpts from that. But let me just say, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a tax accountant, CPA, any of that stuff, y'all. If you need help, see your professionals. Certainly with this and building your business, talk to an attorney. But I'll just tell you, these are some of the excerpts from what South Carolina put out there. First thing says, the revised Real Estate Practice Act, blah, 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 seeks to regulate the practice of wholesaling. They put the word in law, you guys. That's never been there before. None of the other states did that. By distinguishing it from, this is interesting, legitimate assignments of contract. Do you remember what I just said? People are like, oh, I'm assigning a contract because that's legitimate. Not if you do it this way. And then setting clear limitations on the marketing of contracts. And so that's where they're really focusing on, is the marketing. So I encourage you all to look at this, read it, have an attorney look at it, if you want to continue down the path of what used to be called wholesaling. Now, to be a deal finder, you don't have to assign a contract using these marketing methods. And I'll tell you how you can keep doing this without doing that. But the elements of wholesaling are these 4 things. I don't know if you can read them all. You've got the contract. You market or advertise in the contract. So that includes pictures of houses, the address, how many beds and baths, square footage. In this code or act or whatever, they actually tell you all the things. Like they say, hey, you can't say it has 2 bedrooms. That counts as marketing the property. Okay. So look at it. You'll see the whole list. Expecting to be paid for the transaction. That's a no-no. Using a legal instrument such as assignment to transfer interest, whatever. So using, legal documents to get this done is a problem. Okay. So that's my big disclaimer for y'all. Is anyone scared of wholesaling now? No? You don't care? No. Ted's like, no, come on. I hate the law. I'm going to go get them. No. So here's the thing. Nobody has been fined that I know of. Nobody's been brought to court or anything like that. We really don't know how this is going to play out. But I don't want to be the first one to figure it out. So y'all let me know how it goes. If you do that QR code or go to dealfindersclub.com/resources, I have all of our contracts and stuff like that, but under that, you can actually click the link for the PDF for the whole act. And you can read that for yourself. Okay. Um, got it. Good. / resources. You can find that there. All right. So why would we consider something like wholesaling as an option? Well, guys, two groups of people. You got to get started somewhere. You don't have a lot of capital and you're really just start from scratch, or you're already doing the marketing. You're already out there getting deals coming to you, so might as well profit on the ones that you don't work for your business. If it's nothing you don't want to flip, might as well assign it to someone else. Well, that's still the case, and you can still do that, but you don't necessarily have to get in trouble by doing it. Okay, you don't have to put out in a marketing. Please don't use MailChimp and send out your assignment or contract, please. That is going to get you in trouble. Okay, Facebook is also a little touchy. Even in a closed group like ours, I don't know who's mad at us, right? All these agents. Patrick's an agent, right? Rochelle's an agent. She probably hates us, right? All us wholesalers. So I don't know who's in there that might get mad at you. So don't put it out there publicly. That's where you are still able to do this business and we'll get to that in just a second. So I think I talked about this already, how you get paid as a wholesaler. If y'all don't understand that part, let me know. But today, in order to still do this business as a wholesaler, as a deal finder, you don't have to do it. You don't have to assign the contract to strangers. You want to have a partner. You want to have somebody you've met before, because the whole rule of advertising means you're going out and marketing to people you've never met, right? You're putting it out to a whole mass of people. That's very different from coming to somebody at your table or somebody you have lunch with or a friend of yours or an actual partner of yours saying, hey, I've got a contract, I got a deal I really want to do. Do you want to come in on this with me? Do you want to partner on that, right, Antoinette? We want to be partners on a deal together. So you could do that. Now, here's the deal. Partners don't have to be partners for life. You can be partner for a day. You can be partner for an hour. You can be partner for as long as it takes to sign paperwork, for all I care. So getting connected, building a business and a community where you can have and find partners, that's going to help you continue to be a deal finder that can have this strategy in your tool belt. All right. This is kind of how it just works, right? We talked about that. Just you and the partner split the funds. You don't have to split funds after the flip is done. If you and your partner come together, you can split funds at the beginning, right? And then one partner can go back to being a deal finder, finding more deals while the other partner flips a house. You guys see how that works? All right. So that's how we still do this business. Let's talk about actually doing it. All right. So how do we find the deal? We have two different ways. And if y'all got my email, if you didn't get it, look in your email, check your spam or whatever. But I sent you a cleaned up version of paid versus free lead sources. All right. So if you're brand new and you don't have a whole bunch of cash, use the free lead sources. They're there. They work. You will find deals in the free lead sources. If you have some investment capital, something you can use for marketing, I suggest using some of it, because any good, successful, long-term business takes investment. Okay. Yes, you can start from scratch and from nothing, but it is hard. It's labor intensive. You get burnt out. Okay. So when you get that capital, put it towards the marketing. Here's another version of that email. But basically, you got the free lead sources. Okay. Everybody can do all of these if you want. I don't suggest doing all of them. Grab one, maybe two, and dive in on them and just own them. And so it's interesting. A lot of times people ask me, why are you teaching other people in your own market how to do exactly what you do? Aren't they going to just find your deals before you do? And the truth is, like, it's practically impossible to run out of deals, because here in Columbia, we have 500,000 people right here, and there's 50 people in here. You're not going to get them all. And the other piece is that it's really funny how humans interact with media. But every single one of you in here has a different preferred method of communication, and you receive messages differently. So the person that you find a deal from at the for sale by owner sites, if one of y'all is like, I'm going to do all the for sale by owner sites, that seller is not going to be on the Craigslist ads, okay? And that seller is not going to be on social media. You see how that works? So if you grab one of the free sources and go deep and dive into that, then you're going to be the only one finding those sellers that are receiving that message and posting or reading on that media. Does that make sense? Can y'all get behind that? You see how we could still do this, and everyone in this room can find deals. You can be a deal finder because we're not all going to pick the same, or we're not all going to be good at the same. Okay? So if you have some cash, put it in. We've done direct mail for years. It didn't do as well last year, but we've always done that. Love that. Facebook advertising has been interesting. Pay per lead services is a hot way to get deals. Basically, pay per lead. They come in and they do all the pay per click. So they're the ones advertising on Google and YouTube and all that. They get the lead and you buy the lead. So agents have done that for years. Now you can do that for home buying, discount home buying. All right. So if you all want to take a picture of that, go ahead. It's also already in your email. So I wanted to send that out to you just so you had it because it's a great resource. And actually in the email, I added a few things to it. All right. Finding your deals. Here's a couple of lists, a couple of places to look. If you're going to send mail, cold call, if you're going to text people, if you were going to door knock, you can check these lists to find potential deals, okay? The best place that we see for data right now, Deal Finder data is one. You have a lot of resources in that one place. The PropStream data, so PropStreamVIP.com, that data is actually kind of old if you pull a list. We're not seeing good results from that. So it's good for research individually, but not good for like sending direct mail to, okay? And then Deal Machine is a good place for skip tracing. Usually if I'm trying to find a phone number, I can get it from Deal Machine better than the others. And it's cheaper individually. So anyway, that's just to kind of give you guys that. You don't have to have all those. If you pick one, you'll be fine. But if you really are trying to get every opportunity, you probably want a couple of them. Any of these lists that y'all don't understand? Y'all got all that? Garage sales is one of the unsung heroes. If you see a garage sale, my kids, they love riding around with me on Saturdays, don't they, honey? So garage sales, probate, or not, what's it called? Estate sales. Every time we see one, pull over. Just pull over. Because they're all selling the house. All of them. And not always you're going to get it, but you're going to know what's happening on that house. And literally, I've left offers at estate sales before. Just said, hey, here's my offer. If y'all want to take it, great. If not, sell it with your agent, whatever. But they're going to sell. Garage sales and estate sales, those houses most likely are selling. All right. So how are you actually going to close these deals? The most important thing is talking to sellers, getting out there and actually making offers, having conversations. So those people that were on those lists, or if you called them, you saw them in your neighborhood, if you sent them a piece of mail, you wrote them a letter, you've got to be able to make those offers. If you can make 5 offers a day and stay consistent with it, there's no way you fail in this business. Consistency is what is going to win the day for you. All right. I can tell y'all right now, this room could be filled up 10 times with the amount of people that have sat here once and said, I'm going to do it. They tried it for a week, maybe a month. It got hard and they're gone. I see some heads nodding. Darren's like, oh yeah, I see them all the time. And guys, that's fine. If it's too hard for you, that's okay. Just understand you will not win At this game of life, if you quit because it's hard, if you quit because you're tired of getting a no, part of the reason we're here is so that everyone here can see that it is possible. Like, this isn't fake, right? There's lots of people in this room doing deals today. Okay? So stay consistent with it, making five offers a day, and you will be successful. All right. Phone, email, any way you can get to them. I'd put this in here because some people are like, I can't talk to sellers. I don't know what to say. If you send them a quick text, now we get these all the times, the text of, hey, it's like they're texting you as if you've already talked to them. And I'm like, wow, that's good. Something like, oh yeah, just calling you back about that property. Or, did you say you wanted to close at so-and-so? Like at the attorney. I'm like, whoa, that's good. Like, cause I almost want to call. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I know better. So I don't. But, those little quick text messages kind of pique people's interest, and then you can start with a little text conversation before you hop on the phone. Just a little quick trick. If you're a little nervous with the phone, if you are nervous, if you're like, I don't know what to say, I've never done this before, y'all go back to those free lead sources and call all of them. There's 240 for sale by owners in Columbia right now on Zillow. They all have a phone number. They all want to talk to someone that's a buyer. They may not be your seller because they might, have a fully renovated home, but you could practice your conversation skills. You can practice your script. You can practice finding out what their pain is, their motivation. You can practice on them because they want you to call. They gave you their phone number. So go practice on them. And don't do it all tomorrow because they will be pissed if all of y'all call tomorrow. Spread it out. Y'all talk to each other, spread it out. But yes, if you need practice, go to the for sale by owner, for rent by owner, Craigslist, all those, call them. They're asking to be called. Okay. All right. Let's talk about talking to sellers. You want to get them talking to you. Bishop, we just had a conversation today about the person who asks the question, asking the most questions is winning in the conversation. They're leading the conversation. Okay. So you want to ask them questions that gets them talking. So that means do not ask how many beds, how many baths, because what are they going to respond with? 2. Well, that's no fun. That gets you nowhere into this conversation. If you haven't talked to people in a while, just a little hint, you want more words out of them. Okay. You want more words, not just 2 and 3. So ask open-ended questions. I have that in it. Like, hey, how long have you lived there? Are you from Columbia? Oh, if Patrick is over here, I call on him because he and I are from the same side of town, and everybody on our side of town is still on our side of town. So whenever there's a deal over there, there's a property over there, it's like, oh, what high school did you go to? Oh, that's where I went to. It's like 30 years apart, but whatever. So it just opens up a conversation, and then we could talk about the property, not as the specific like details of square foot and beds and baths, but what does the property mean to them? How is it affecting them? Is it painful for them to have it? Is it expensive for them to have it? That's what you want to be talking about. So what kind of situation must someone be going through if they're asking a stranger for help? That's not done right. So if they've called you from like a bandit sign or a Facebook ad or your mail, and they're going to tell you about the problems of this property, all the details. Kimberly gets it all the time. She's our in-house therapist, basically. They just spill the beans. Well, y'all, the reason that happens is because it is so bottled up inside these sellers, they just explode when someone's finally ready to listen. Those are the people that you can actually help by doing this business. Those people are created because of that gap I was telling you about in this marketplace. because they haven't had anywhere to go. And so they've just literally been bottling up all this angst and anxiety and pain and just stress. And now you're willing to talk about it, they'll throw it up on you. And those are the ones you want to try to run in, help them, and get those deals closed as fast as possible, because they will be your best fan later. All right. Must get the following every time. So every time you talk to a seller, you want to make sure you use that conversation wisely. Remember, time is our most precious resource, you guys. I don't know about you, but I turned 40 last year. I'm getting old. I'm on the downslope, it feels like. So I got this every minute, I got to spend it wisely. So if I'm on the phone with these sellers, I want to make sure that I'm getting enough info to move the conversation forward, to know what to say for the next conversation, to make sure I know how to plan for the next meeting or whatever it is. So contact info. Y'all, how many people have had a call and then forgot to get the phone number or email? Okay, right? It's a lot easier now with cell phones or whatever. You just text like, oh, I forgot to get your email, right? But I always feel like a dummy when I do that. Property address. You would think that's weird to not get, but sometimes these people just keep talking, and you just get into their life story. So get the property address. Condition of the property. This is really important for you to start building your offers. Asking price. You do not want to say your number or hint at your number until they've said their number. Okay. I don't know if y'all have heard that before, but whoever makes the first offer loses. Okay. So you want to make sure that they're giving you some sort of number. Now, I know there's plenty of the dominant A-type sellers out there. They're like, well, you're the professional. You tell me what it's worth. And Kimberly's really good at this, at deflecting, and is like, well, I'd pay you $1, but I'm sure you wouldn't take that, so you can have fun with them. Or you just make a really big range of like, oh, well, I'm thinking 50 to about 500,000, something crazy. But just, you want to make sure that you have some idea of where they're headed. And then why? Motivation. Why are they talking to you? Why are they selling? We kind of covered that earlier. That is really the most important thing that's going to help you secure these contracts, because again, for some reason, the pent-up stress and anxiety for people, it gets really built up, but then trying to actually get through that becomes a challenge in itself. So you got to be able to understand what's happening, what's behind the reason, so that you can help them actually get to signing the contract. Because a lot of people will bury their heads in the sand and they won't do it. That's just a sample of the script. It's on that link I gave earlier, the resources tab on dealfindersclub.com.
Thanks for listening to the REI Deal Finders podcast. You can find out more and apply to be a part of the REI Deal Finder community at reidealfinders.club.